Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. The more I read and learn about the Falklands War, the more interesting the conflict becomes. Today we're going to be looking at and reenacting the first real day of British aerial bombardment on the East Island. We're in the early morning of 1st of May 1982, the Black Buck 1 raids and the Sea Harrier strikes. First, I'd like to take a few minutes to describe what happened that day, and rather than me trying to describe it, why don't we listen to the people that were really there.
The main task force was about to enter the exclusion zone, and the Harrier pilots were being briefed for the first airstrike.
Ted, the depression for CVU is worked out for what, 480 knots? 480 flap out to 450, sorry, yeah, 480 flap out to 450 mid flap. Okay?
It was to be an attack coordinated with a Vulcan bomber flying 3,500 miles from Ascension Island. The Harriers would follow it in after daybreak, and with the defences alert, they were told that 3 of them could expect to be shot down. By dawn, the fleet's radar had tracked the Vulcan, codenamed Black Buck, across Stanley Airfield, and monitored the code word that its bombs had been dropped. It was time for the Harriers to join the offensive to recapture the Falklands.
Clear on Sea Harrier 23, after it, flying to 18 run. Flying to close up Sea Harrier 23.
Every plane in the task force joined the raid, 12 from Hermes, 8 more from Invincible, 20 in all. They wheeled around the sky, forming up before heading 90 miles west towards the islands.
8:23 de la mañana se repite el ataque contra Puerto Argentino con mucha mayor intensidad. Antes habían sido 2 aviones que habían bombardeado el aeropuerto con escasa suerte. Ahora el tiroteo es mucho más intenso y se ve que además otro de los blancos es el mercante argentino que está...
From Port Stanley across the bay, an Argentine camera team watched the bombs falling and the fierce anti-aircraft fire.
Contestan nuestras baterías antiaéreas y se ve el refulgir de sus disparos en el aire.
The Harriers came in low around the mountains to strike at the headland on which the airfield was built.
Un ruido que ahora se hace más intenso.
War hadn't been declared, but that made it no less real. Out at sea, it was a tense 40 minutes before the planes returned, with everybody watching, counting, wondering if they'd all make it back safely. They did. Reconnaissance photos of the airfield showed that the Vulcan had laid a trail of bombs and got 1 on the runway. Other low-level pictures of the raid showed the effect of the Harrier bombs. But was it enough to close the runway and enforce the air blockade? Pictures flown out to Argentina were evidence that it was not.
The evidence, in fact, pointed quite the other way. The only people leaving the Falklands were the Argentines injured in the bomb attacks. More men and supplies were moving in and out of Port Stanley, despite the runway bombing and the blockade.
First, the British couldn't move an amphibious task force from Ascension Island, nearly 4,000 miles to the north, to the Falklands until the naval battle was won. So to do that, the British sent a naval task force to win the seas. They set up an exclusion zone 200 miles around the island and a task force consisting of 2 carriers, HMS Invincible and HMS Hermes, as well as auxiliary and escort ships. Hermes had aboard 800 naval squadron, that's 12 Sea Harriers, and HMS Invincible had 801 squadron with 8 Sea Harriers, so a total of 20 Sea Harriers. On the 1st of May 1982, Black Buck 1 raid, that's the first of the Black Buck raids performed by the RAF from the Ascension Islands, achieved 1 Vulcan bomber overflying Port Stanley and laying down her bombs as you saw on the video. This will happen today at 7:46 Zulu time as per real life. We don't have a Vulcan in-game, so we've changed it out for a modern B-1 supersonic American bomber dropping 28 bombs. 800 squadron from Hermes will be attacking the ground targets, while 801 Squadron will be escort. First, let's look at 801 Squadron. There will be 8 Sea Harriers as per real life, and they will be flown by AI today. We don't actually have the Sea Harrier in DCS, so we're using the Americanized Harrier 2, which we can make very similar to the performance of the Sea Harrier in terms of its loadout and kinematics. So they will be carrying, as per real life, 2 L variant Sidewinders and fuel tanks. They'll be taking off, flying to us as our escort, and then taking 2 different approaches to and around the islands. Then 12 Sea Harriers from Hermes doing the ground attack. As per real life, 9 were vectored to Port Stanley to bomb the runway there, and 3 to attack the small runway at Goose Green here. We don't have all 12 pilots today, we have 6 pilots, so we're going to basically half everything. So, the Goose Green attackers will be armed with 2 cluster bombs and 2 fuel tanks. In real life, they had 3 cluster bombs, but because we can't use the center pylon in the AV-8B, it's going to be safest if we use 2. We don't have the correct type of cluster bomb, but it's very similar. We'll be using Rockeye today, Mark 20. In real life, I believe they use the BL755 Matrix.
Yeah, that's correct.
So you guys will be taking off from Hermes first. You'll be heading along the real-life steer point chain. First steer point after 90 miles will be McBride Head, where the rock will be used for an INS realignment. You'll then be heading to steer point 2 here, Race Point. Steer point 3 south down the Sound to this visual reference here. Then you move into Grantham Sound for your IP, which will be a visual reference of this rock here. 10 more miles and you'll reach Goose Green. You'll be attacking the Pucarás based at the airfield there, of which we have 6 modelled today. The Argentinian Pucarás were light attack aircraft and they were hugely feared, especially by the helicopter pilots of the Royal Navy and the Army Air Corps. The defence at Goose Green is formidable, guys. We have modelled 8 20mm cannon and 2 guided 35mm cannon. So your ingress should be as fast and low as you can do. Quick pop-up, lay down, and then evac to steer point 6. The quicker you can do this and the closer together you can do this to create as much surprise as possible will increase your chances. But again, as per real life, we're expecting to possibly lose Sea Harriers. Of course, there were none lost in the real mission, but subsequently Sea Harriers were shot down at Goose Green on follow-up attacks. There will be aircraft and ships operating in the area, but please ignore these, leave them to Sharkey Ward's squadron. The other 4 of us will be attacking Port Stanley. 2 1,000-pound unguided bombs plus fuel tanks. Now in real life it was a bit more complex. The Port Stanley, the 9 aircraft that attacked Port Stanley had a mixture of CBUs with laydown attack, and as far as we can see from the book I'm reading at the moment, variable timed fuse 1,000-pound bombs used to attack the runway in a loft configuration. So today all 4 of us will be loft bombing on the runway. This will allow us to release our bombs slightly further away from the runway, keeping us as safe from the defences as possible. As per real life, our steer point 1 will be at McBride Head again, where we will update our INS. In real life, they travel to that point there and then straight on to Port Stanley. That will give us some difficulties in the way we're going to drop our bombs, so what I want to do is approach on the radial of the runway. So instead, I'm moving a few more miles west. So steer point 2, guys, will be at Estancia House. course, this was in the next few weeks the home of 3 Brigade, the fighting force that took the various mountains around Port Stanley and eventually took Port Stanley and won the conflict. Then we'll move to Steer Point 3. Steer Point 3 will be our turn point and will take us around Mount Kent here and Mount Challenger, or take us between them. I've set our IP up as the trough between the 2 peaks of Two Sisters. Two Sisters was this mountain here, which contained on it a battalion of Argentinian troops. So we're going to be a little bit careful. They didn't do this in real life, but I thought it would make it a bit more exciting. So guys, set our IP ref here. We'll then move into the lowlands between Tumbledown, Longdon and Wireless Mountains and head to attack the runway. As I said, we're using a loft configuration, so we want to release our bombs before we get to the defences around Port Stanley to minimise our exposure. Again, as per real life, the defences of Port Stanley were formidable. We've got 6 20mm cannon, 2 guided 35mm cannon, and 2 surface-to-air Tiger Cat missiles. I've been trying to find out exactly what was based at Port Stanley on the first, and what I came up with was MB339 and C-130 Hercules somewhere. As ever, I stand to be corrected on that, guys. Welcome, viewers, to 0746 Zulu time on the 1st of May 1982. We're watching HMS Hermes here, but the first thing that's going to happen is the first Black Buck raid is going to occur. If we're going to look at our makeshift Vulcan approaching from the north. I wish we did have the actual Vulcan. The Black Buck raids were a series of incredibly impressive raids. The aircraft got shuttled down to Ascension Islands, just nearly 4,000 miles north of the Falkland Islands, and then they set up a huge daisy chain of Victor bombers converted to refuelers to get heavily laden Vulcan bombers from Ascension down to Falklands. I think it needed like 10 Victors per Vulcan or something like that, Matrix, or it was incredibly impressive logistic chain they managed anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was very impressive.
There were several bombing missions and a couple of anti-radiation missions. As impressive as it was incredibly expensive and, to be honest, not hugely effective. One bomb managed to get onto the runway at Port Stanley. I think one minor radar was destroyed, but otherwise not much was achieved. Bombing with dumb bombs from 20 plus 1,000 feet is just a very difficult thing to do to get it on target. Bombs away. The real Vulcan dropped 1,000-pound bombs. These are 500-pound bombs. A smaller load. Stationed at stationed at Port Stanley at the time. MB339s, we believe, and I think we got a C-130 as well. One bomb on the runway. We've created one bomb on the runway. The problem with doing that is they're very easily repaired.
Just like the real mission.
We can start taking off now. The first 2 aircraft will be the 2 aircraft attacking Goose Green. That is Matrix and Ali. Matrix, please lead. Getting in orbit while Ali takes off. I'm going to quickly check the map and make sure that 801 Squadron airborne, and they are. Here they come. These are our defenders today, or our escort.
Yeah, Ali, if you want to take off first.
Okay, we're in a strange position here, viewers, where we've got one flight consisting of Matrix and Ali, who were not ex-Royal Navy pilots, but they were both ex-RAF fighter or fast attack pilots. So there's an interesting thing going on. Unfortunately, not so many real pilots in my flight. Goose Green 1, airborne. Poosh, you can spawn in and get to the runway. No, don't do it, just wait for Simba actually. Now you can spawn in, Poosh. Yep. Right, you 2 have just taken off. You can form up and attack at will. You don't need to wait for any further orders. Simba, please take off and orbit the carrier, wait for us. Poosh, you can follow up. Dark, did you get back in?
Ali, you can head for waypoint 1.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we've lost one of our guys. He's had a power cut, so yeah.
What heading do you reckon?
Stand by. Make it about 220 for the time being.
Yeah, that's what I'm on.
This is Ali's first flight in a Harrier and DCS as well, so it's going to be interesting. Baptism of fire. I'm spawning in. Right, I'm very nervous about wrecking this.
Right, waypoint 1's 260.
Okay. Coming right. Oh, I had the flaps down, so I'm reducing speed a bit now, back to 300 for you to catch up.
Passing on your right.
Right, Port Stanley 4 about to take off, stand by.
Do you want to lead or shall I lead?
Checks.
Oh, you lead, so I don't know how to use the kit in this.
Check.
All right.
Check.
However, I'm all set up for CCIP bombing already.
Good. On your right, 3:30.
Yeah, I'm telling.
Okay, I'll set 93%.
Yeah, that was with the flaps down, so it's not going to be good.
Port Stanley 4 airborne. Simba, where are you?
Flaps in also should be good.
I am at the 3 o'clock position of the ships.
Watch out.
About 3,000 foot altitude.
Okay, our air escort just arrived.
Okay, I'm going S1 starboard.
You hear?
Roger.
Push.
You can make it arrow. Keep it relaxed.
Say again for push.
Arrow starboard.
Are you with us, or are you still on your own?
Yeah, no, I'm looking for Simba right now.
Roger, let us know
Off
when you're...
nose of the boat.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
close. I see both of you.
I've got you.
Simba, please set course to steer point 1. Keep relatively slow for the time being so we can all catch up and get our switchology done. We'll be going low. We want to avoid RG radar, so make use of your autopilots. Which we remember how to do that, so that's like that, isn't it? Alright, viewers, we need to start setting up our weapons stuff. So, air to ground mode, check. Water, off, check. Master arm, on, check. Select the weapons. Obviously we have a more sophisticated jet, but essentially it's going to be the same for what we're doing today. Mark 83. Check. Quantity. 2. Enter. Altitude. Off. Okay, I'm set up. I'm auto. I'm fusing. Nose tail. Instant. Next I'm going to designate my waypoint. I'm going to allow Simba to do the navigation, and I'm just going to go straight to steer point 5, designate. Okay, I've got steer point 5 designated, which is going to be Port Stanley. Right, how are you doing, Pooch? Yep, Pooch is with us. Alright, all is going moderately well so far. Goose Green guys, how are you guys getting on?
We're on course.
Roger, I suspect in real life that altitude ingress would have been moderately low, so I'd suggest keep moderately low and just sacrifice the fuel. Oh, I can see you.
There we go.
Right, I can see you guys over there. I can see the escort flight. Right, I'm just going to have a quick click on the map just to make sure all the cogs are in place. Viewers, stand by. Who have we got here? We've got Matrix and Ali B out front. Low level, doing their thing. We've got myself, Simba, and Pooch pushing in just off our port rear. We have 801 Squadron, which will be escorting us with their sidewinders, and we've got more coming out. Of course, after this mission was done, the Sea Harriers, or most Sea Harriers, switched to combat air patrol. They always had a flight of 4 Sea Harriers between the carrier group and the Falklands, and of course they did intercept many many Argentinian jets, shoot them down, leading to the name Black Death. Of course, the Argies were terrified of the Sea Harriers, and quite often, once they spotted a Sea Harrier, Mirages or Skyhawks would dump their load and head back to Argentina or wherever they were based, because it just wasn't worth tangling with them. The reason we decided to do this is I'm reading a new book at the moment called Scram, viewers. I would really recommend it, really good. It's about not aeroplanes, but the rotary wing aircraft. And there were so many more of them in the Falklands campaign than I realised. 150, over 150 we had. We had Sea King of 2 marks, we had Wessex of 2 marks, we had Lynx, we had Scouts. Ooh, come help me out, guys. We had 1 Chinook that made it. We had Gazelles. Yeah, they were split into 4 categories, mainly logistics, but also anti-submarine, spotting, anti-ship. But I'm just at a point when a Wessex 5, flown by what they would call a jungly, so a logistics mover, was used to hunt a submarine. There was if you remember, in the early May, there was a submarine spotted around Port Stanley. Simba, I can't keep up with you, whatever I do. Could you come up a bit? I'm at 500. And Wessex got too close to Port Stanley and they shot a Tiger Cat missile at it, which is a wire-guided, terrible British wire-guided missile. And it chased this helicopter, and this helicopter had to dodge a manoeuvre, a twist, and they just managed to dodge 2 of these Tiger Cats, and we'll be facing that today against Port Stanley, so that should be interesting.
What was that missile that the Brits had that was so effective?
We had a Rapier we brought, and we set it up on the first days of the landing on the 21st to the 25th.
It's got a hitile, not a missile.
Yeah, is that because of the fusing type?
Yeah, it actually had to hit the target.
Yeah, I think later ones did have proxy, but yeah, these were hit, and they were incredibly accurate. And remind me, God, Ali, are they sack-cloths? How are they guided?
Yes, they were, yeah.
Yeah, it was a guy with a joystick. So I mean,
There's a man with a joystick with a camera.
Yeah, so it's really early tech. Guy with a joystick, wire-guided missiles, all that kind of stuff, which kind of make it more exciting in a way because the stuff got really dirty and close.
Well, I have no idea, but obviously the RAF regiment used to have them. That's one of their major roles. Were they down there? Any idea?
I don't think the RAF regiment were. I think the regiment were they were on Ascension Island. We also need to remember that the Navy had Seawolf and Sea Dart.
Yes, much better. Certainly Sea Dart was much better missile, wasn't it?
Sea Dart was semi-active radar homing, and the Seawolf, I'm not sure what that was. I think it was the same.
Roger. Yeah, and they were on the carriers, weren't they?
Sea Dart, yeah, I think they did have a Sea Dart installation on the Illustrious. Or was it the Invincible? Can't remember. They certainly had one, but they also on the Type 42s, I think.
Roger.
And Cap, can I just say the sea is very glossy today in VR.
Yeah, right.
It's very.
It's going to be dangerous.
It's very not South Atlantic.
It's very not, isn't it? Yeah, in real life it would be huge gusts of wind. When I'm reading about the SAS attacks on South Georgia, 60 knot winds would be the lowest winds they would face when landing the helicopters there. The highest over 100 knots. I mean, it's almost unbearable. There's no way we could operate these Harriers in that, so I kept it low today. Yeah, fair comment. The weather was, even here in the Falklands, very, very bad.
I think when the 2-power engaged at Goose, and Darwin, the cloud base was so low they couldn't get the Harriers in, and they only got them in fairly late on in the engagement, and the cloud base was something like 150 feet, and it was bloody awful.
Roger, and that's one of the reasons for your missions today, Matrix. You're attacking Goose Green to try and take the Crocodiles out, which were very dangerous aircraft and massively underrated, especially in a conflict like this. Reading in my book about the helicopters, I spent a lot of time trying to evade Argentinian fighters, and they had no problem really evading the Skyhawks and the Mirages and the Daggers, because it's hard to attack a slow-moving, low helicopter at 500 knots. But the Puckaras, which were light attack turboprop planes, could fly around at 150 knots and easily track down and shoot down helicopters, and of course they did. So you needed them taken down, as well as that they were attacking 2-para on whatever day they attacked Goose Green, so they needed taken down. Or Pebble Island, I think the SBS or SAS inserted and tried to take more, or did take more Puckaras down, but still there were enough on the day when 2-para attacked to attack 2-para. There's also a regiment of RG infantry based at Goose Green, so you'll be bombing them today, but you're really going for the aircraft.
Matrix, I've hatched the waypoints.
Jam course 2-2.
Yeah, I've sussed out how to do it.
Roger.
Good.
Yeah, Ali's learning the Harrier on the fly, which I couldn't do.
20 to go.
Roger, Simba. Right, I guess we better start getting our heads in the game. Now, the real Sea Harriers were less advanced than these guys here, and what we would have to do is realign our INS system, our navigation system, on McBride Rock, which we're going to pretend to do, Simba. So if we could try and overfly steer point 1, we'll pretend to update our INS, which is, of course, a constant problem, as Matrix and Ali would, both being early Cold War or late Cold War pilots, would know is a thing.
It's what navigators are for.
What navigators are for, there we go. And you had one, didn't you? Yeah, whereas Matrix didn't. The Matrix had to do it himself.
Yeah, and we had a radar to do it, so we could do it in cloud.
You had to do it visually, Matrix?
Yeah, generally you weren't flying long enough for it to really be a problem. If the kit drifted too much, you just reverted to old map and stopwatch.
And Matrix, we didn't even carry a map in the front.
Yeah, the Sodcat would have had a word with you if you'd done that.
No, we weren't allowed to. That's what navigators are for. We just carried the IP to target run.
Well, Sodcat is the Society of Omnidirectional Consultants and Allied Trades, otherwise known as navigators.
All right.
Are you going to have time to get steer point 5 designated, Simba?
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. You just follow the steer points as accurate as you can, and I'll talk through the sites. So prepare to update INS in 3, 2, 1. Mark. Right, Simba takes on steer point 2, wherever the heck that is. I think it's a Santia house. You may have to change steer points manually on the HSI, I'm not sure.
Coming left, 45.
Paranoid, I'd forgotten the switch. I know I've forgotten a switch somewhere, I just know it.
You got a red SEL under your bombs.
Yes.
You're pretty good then, I think.
Okay. Goose Green guys, are you guys doing okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
Roger. The vast majority of the Falklands were just uninhabited by the RGs at the time. They just had the main sides, the mountains.
Birds.
Alright.
Well spotted.
Passing over a sound now. You will see RG traffic, but you're under orders not to engage. We leave that to 801. We will engage. The weather, from what I can see, was worse than this on the day, viewers, but video starts to go a bit grotty if I make the weather too bad. RG traffic left off us, appears to be Huey helicopter. Our mates are going to take care of him.
Pull up.
98% power.
3.5 to go. One mile.
Oh geez, right, we look out for the building. There it is. Later in the campaign, viewers, 3rd Brigade occupied that, which was the fighting force, the infantry force. The RGs found that out, obviously, and attacked it with Skyhawks, but they never really did serious damage.
Another surface
Right.
target, 11 o'clock,
We're
range 3.
gonna come left after this mountain.
Roger. Right, we get to learn some mountains. Man, I'd love to visit this in real life. We're looking for Challenger and Kent, the first of the outer ring of mountains that were defending Port Stanley. Range to next steer point, please, Simba.
2 nautical miles.
Right, so this is it. It's between, so that's Kent, that's Challenger there, viewers. We're going to make a left over it, and then we're going to look for our IP, which is going to be Two Sisters, which was attacked by, God, 4 or 5 Commando, I think.
Keep your eyes peeled for AAA.
Coming left.
Big ship left.
Here's our turn point.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right, we're looking for 2 peaks next to
3
each other.
nautical miles.
I see it. I see Two Sisters. I'm going to set our IP there. See those 2 little hills there?
Alright, when I cross over those hills, I'm gonna go full wet.
Sure. Here we go. We will be attacked, so keep low and fast across the Simba. There is, I actually modelled a battalion on there.
Alright, pushing forward.
Taking fire, base. Okay, back
3 bogies. 3
Yeah, I've got
bogies, 1
them.
o'clock.
Got them visual.
Roger.
Pull up.
Tally visual. Waypoint 5 for the target.
Hey, firm, IP down.
Jesus, that was dangerous. Right, there's Tumble Down.
Pull up.
There's Longdon. There's Wireless Ridge. Here we go.
1 mile.
Pulled out the figures. Air traffic. Ignore it.
Pull up.
7.
Pull up.
Get ready for AAA.
Pull up.
Alright, I'm 20 feet.
Pull up.
Bogies left hand.
5 miles.
Got them.
All the bogies on the left hand of those helicopters.
Come on.
Pull up.
Tally visual.
Come on.
My 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock.
Roger.
Let's get this accurate. Let's get this accurate.
Pull up, pull up,
4 miles. Where are you going, Simba?
pull up, pull up,
I'm pulling up now.
pull up.
Push, don't go yet. Push, don't go yet. Remember, you're further back. Cap pulling up.
Pull up, pull up.
Please work, please work, please work, please work, please work, please work. Please work, please work, please
Two away.
work.
Pulling off left.
Fucking bombs in drop. God damn it. Alright, well done, Simba.
Double A.
Push, Pickle.
Triple A out. Well done, you lot. Obviously, I messed it up as usual. Bombs on friggin'
Bombs
runway.
off.
Well done, you beautiful boys. It's too dangerous for me to go round. Let's go home.
Hits I've got as well.
Just get out before the Tiger Cats get us. Wow, simultaneous on target. That is
Yeah, it was impressive.
well done, guys. Sorry, viewers. I messed something up, as I always do. Still got my box.
Who's on board?
Let's get home.
Roger. Turning left.
Tip point.
Heading 095, Cap.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just punching in the INS. Ooh, that got that blood flow going. We're out of here, guys.
I'm back off to 85% for you to reform.
Roger. I'm not sure this is you, so I'm going to go and check. Did you both survive, Ali and Matrix?
Hey, phone.
Both got hits on target.
Sexy boys. And the bombs wouldn't penetrate the runway, would they, Matrix? The 1,000-pounders from the Harriers.
No, they were delivered too low, so the grazing angle was too acute. They just bounced or if they
off.
went off on the runway, they just scabbed the top of the runway.
So it's much better from the Vulcan, where they dropped straight down, viewers, pushed through the runway and then exploded. Yeah, there's our defenders. Can you see our defenders, viewers, on the way back as well? Perfect timing mission this was. Everything worked perfectly. Right, information and air brake on.
Matrix bingo 7.3.
Roger.
Okay, Simba, as we've got nothing really to wait for, and I want to get back before the boys, we can punch up to 450 or whatever we can realistically achieve. Probably a bad time to mention I can't remember how to land this on a carrier.
You'll be fine.
I think I could probably land it on a carrier, but that little thing we got airborne from is not a carrier.
Not really, they were very small carriers. Well, that's a thing, viewers. At the time, we'd scrapped all our big carriers by now, hadn't we?
Apart from the Hermes.
Was Hermes a big carrier? I thought it
Well,
was
it's
a
not
light
big,
carrier.
Yeah, no, it's not a big carrier, not like the American ones, but it was bigger than the Invincible.
Noted. Yeah, fair enough. We're operating from Invincible today, viewers, pretending it's Hermes, I should say. Should have said that. Before this, we had a massive carrier fleet, lots of carriers, relatively big ones as well, but they were just too expensive. We needed cheap small carriers, and we needed cheap small fighter planes like this.
Is it worthwhile getting rid of these tanks?
Well, in real life, you wouldn't be allowed to, I doubt. Would you? Just wouldn't be allowed to jettison tanks, would you?
Well, only if you thought you were going to die.
No, yeah, exactly, not routinely.
No, so we'll try and keep it milsim. Now, I've got bombs on here, and what would happen with me? Would I be told to jettison the bombs? Because landing with live bombs is very just dangerous.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't take them back to the carrier.
Alright, so let's figure out how to do this thing, guys. I wouldn't be allowed to push the Admiral's doorbell, so I'd have to figure out how to jettison them. Oh, no, I don't know how to do that.
Ray rotary knob combat.
Combat equipment. Yeah! Bomb's gone! Oh no, my tanks went! Right, I mean, it's for a severe bollocking then. From, God, who was the
CNC
Admiral?
fleet.
Yeah, I forgot who the
In
Admiral
those days, they're about £40,000 each.
Sandy Woodward?
Yes, that's exactly right. Matrix knows everything. It's Sandy Woodward, yeah. Waypoint 6. Okay, 20 miles. It says ice?
No, waypoint 7.
Oh, whoops. Not like I made the mission or anything. Waypoint 7. 60 miles to go. Oh, imagine being a real naval pilot with one engine and a one-engine fighter above sub-zero freezing sea. This wasn't summer. This was winter for Argentina. At any moment, our Pegasus could ingest a bird, and that's it. You're
Talking about Matrix, what's the waypoint for the ship in case you don't make it?
What do you mean, if I don't make it?
Whenever these Harriers landed, according to my book I'm reading, they would have a helicopter, an auxiliary helicopter as plane catcher, which would hover just starboard and rear, just in case one of the Sea Harriers had to take a dunk. Interesting story about when this mission happened. The plane catcher in place had to be got there urgently. He had almost no fuel. And because it was the early part of the conflict, and the gear, the cogs weren't really in place properly, nothing was really working properly, the whole campaign was a rush. And one of the helicopters wasn't told where to sit exactly as a plane catcher, so he sat right next to the chaff launcher. And as soon as the Harriers were being mobilised, the chaff launchers were mental, constantly chaffing all the time, just to make sure there was no exocets danger. And it went right through the rotor blades of the helicopter with the chaff cartridge. Whoops. Lots of little errors like that all the time.
Yeah, I got 7,300 pounds, and
Right.
I can see the boats.
Great point. How do I remind me?
Left hip. You're gonna see two
switches.
flat. Yeah, you're gonna see the two flat switches. It's the two round
Something.
switches just aft of them.
You'll have to do it as well, Pooj.
I am, and also I've got the bingo set, so it'll automatically stop at 3,000.
Always showing off.
Oh, so I'm going to crash, so I don't have any dump fuel, so I'm going to crash. Is that what it is?
It does appear so, doesn't it? I got hit there. I took some fire when going over Two Sisters. But
I did too.
machine seems okay. Tough old gal.
Obviously, if you think you have been hit, you should do a low-speed handling check before you attempt to land on the carrier.
Roger. Interesting story again, guys. So many interesting stories in this relatively small war, battle, whatever. The Sea Harriers were again operating. Everything was a bit makeshift, and to stop them corroding during these operations in the Falklands, they would spray them with WD-40 on the leading edges, and they found that the ships couldn't detect them very well when they were sprayed with WD-40, and that directly influenced later on American stealth design of the way they implemented a certain amount of stealth on their F-16s. I wonder how much progress has been made from just weird things like that, accidents.
And Cap, the leading edges also had a 3M PPF, which was like 5 times thicker than car PPF on the front. Because if you flew through a thunderstorm at 500 knots, the rain droplets just eroded the front of the wings.
Wow. So did they have to replace that a lot?
I gather so, and it was sort of glued on somehow.
We're coming, guys.
Another thing was the Sea Harrier replaced a lot of the aluminium components that were in the GR3 Harriers with magnesium. They tended to rust less.
These were
oxidized.
These were derived from the GR3, weren't they?
Yeah.
All right, I'm done dumping fuel.
Right, I might even go and charge ahead to get down first to watch you lot. Right. Cancelling. Dump. Dump is off. Huh. Dump still appears to be on. Now dump is off.
If you want to dump fuel, look behind the throttle quadrant. The next box behind is the fuel panel. The rear two switches inboard are fuel dump, left and right.
All right, coming left for an overhead brake.
Roger, go straight.
We've got 55 miles to go.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just go down to 3,000 pounds.
Right, here over the empty ocean with only one place to land and one alternate.
Yeah. It's Island Reserve here, mate.
What's Island Reserve in a Harrier? 200 pounds?
Don't know. Well, the Seychelles for 757 was something like 12 tons.
Well, I've done debatably the world's worst approach, but it is me, so...
So you're going to come out all Brian Hanrahan in a minute, Cat?
Shit.
Water on?
The plane has just started spinning. I'm okay. Water on! I didn't turn my water on! I'm an idiot! Oh no! Guys?
We'll cut that out.
We'll certainly cut that out. Bollocks! I didn't turn my freaking water on, so I couldn't generate enough horsepower to land a damn thing.
Even I knew that, Captain. Even I knew that.
I give up. I'm going to run frigging professional. Right, you lot, come do it.
Tally multiple ships, 11 o'clock. One ship at 1 o'clock.
Don't cut yet, don't cut yet, don't cut yet, Simba, don't cut yet, please! Oh, Jesus Christ, that was obscenely, needlessly close. Right, pushing you go. Alright, 801 Squadron are landing on the destroyers. Huh. What an interesting decision to make. Alright, where did push get to? Oh, what happened? Oh, yes, it's still good, it's still good. We've got it. Stay there. Can you manoeuvre out the way? Yeah, still barely even notice it. They're tough air friends. Right, here come the two Milsim nerds.
Who are you talking about?
You two.
I am still the opposite of Milsim.
Exactly.
Didn't call me Gash Alley for anything. So is that our bit of iron in front of us?
Somewhere in there, yep.
I was never very good with recce on ships.
A really interesting landing technique from 801 Squadron.
One in a break it will be then.
I'm going to go and check the damage that we did now. So the 339s are... Yes, there's our bomb. So that is the Vulcan. No, that's us. That's us. That was the Vulcan. Don't know why it's so small. Just ignore it. That's Simba's. Booth 2,000 pounders. Again, it should make a bigger crater. And that's Push's. A miner in the bottom of the South Atlantic somewhere. Brilliant work, my guys. Let's check out the Pucadars. Ooh. You destroyed a whole bunch of stuff. You destroyed 2 planes, guys. 2 planes completely destroyed and despawned, and a bunch of infrastructure. Well done.
So do I actually have to move the flap lever or just leave it in auto?
I'd select freestyle, which is the next one down.
Go to the bottom. Put it down to the bottom.
I'll put this water business on.
Right, well that's one step better than me. That looked pretty much what they were doing on those Sea Harriers. They looked about 50-60 knots. Welcome back. Ali, it's all you. Good luck. You'll need it.
I can't blow it.
It's easy peasy. You got it.
Alright, 90 knots. 70 knots. Right, you can just maintain that.
Stick your velocity vector on the end of the boat.
Sink rate, sink rate, sink rate. Sink rate. Nice.
You're good, Alec. You're good, Alec.
Go further than you think. Hitting the back's really possible.
You're good.
Oh my god. It's okay. It's still good. It's still good. 100%. That's a perfect frame. Right. Well, what happened to me?
Just turning round to line up with the rest of you, that's all.
Exactly right. So whatever happened to me happened to me. I can't even remember. Push landed, but got a bit chewed up. Ali got a bit chewed up, but it was his first landing. Look at that fire come off. It's just like melting the frame. Nice, lovely landings from Matrix and Simba. But really good mission in all seriousness, and a really interesting piece of history. Any comments from my guys?
No, it was fun. Very informative.
Good fun. Hope you enjoyed that, and bye-bye.